Hey folks, Joe Calderon here for Natural Defensive Tactics, NDT, and thank you again for joining us. I'm excited to be here. It's episode 6. 6! I feel like Star Wars. Anyways, today's episode, outdoors, a little fresh air. It's a warm day out here, so hopefully the air conditioner won't kick on, and I'll try to talk over some of the road noise. It's about that time where everybody's coming home from work, most people at least. But welcome. Today's episode is really taking some of the academics that we've talked about in episodes 1 through 5, and now taking some of that and using some demonstrations and practical tools, and to show you why we use certain concepts in NDT. Hopefully you get tons out of this. Your safety tip of the day is a pretty simple one. Besides having a house alarm that you may only use 20-25% of the time, maybe some of you have the Ring, motion detectors or lights, and maybe security signs. A very simple one for a lot of folks, and I have my mom use this. She's 83 and still on her own. If no one typically is going to case your house for weeks on end to find out if you're home and what you have, unless they know already. It's a crime of opportunity. So they're going to look over your fence. They're going to look over your back fence or somewhere they won't get spotted. And if my mom has a size 14 pair of slippers, Crocs in the backyard, and maybe a dog bowl that's oversized, been used, with some rawhide toys out there, they typically are going to pick another home, and that's all you need. Since kindergarten, all of us have been targeted. What I mean by that is, anytime you go to the airport, park your car at the grocery store, maybe at the mall, walk out a bar late at night, I can guarantee you we've all been targeted. And for whatever reason, that individual has chosen somebody else, or didn't choose you at all, or didn't choose anybody that night or that day. There was something you did that you're not even aware of. And I always tell people, make sure you're confident. Have a purpose when you're walking somewhere. Scan. And we talked about those colors of safety, right? Nobody wants to be a lamb. Nobody wants to be in that white zone, a sleep zone. So always make sure that you're scanning. You know where the exits are. You're parking around places where you feel safe egress and to get back into your car. So we've all been there. Which now takes us into why the OpenHand concept. Most martial arts systems that involve complex motor skills, and I was part of that for many years, teaches you the perfect stance, right? And in reality, during seminars, I would conduct the seminar with some people that helped me, and one individual would get in the back eventually, maybe after the introduction, and create a disturbance, an immediate loud bang, something, drop a book on the ground, something. We would tape this initial 5 minutes, and what we would see is natural, right? You would see people do this, eyes closed. You would see people raise their shoulders over their heads, cover their cranium, all kinds of things. But what you didn't see was anybody stand up in a matter of seconds like this. That reaction time from this to gather that audio loop, to figure out what's going on, we call that the time to die chart. In other words, the longer it takes you to digest, orientate, make a decision, and do something about it, is the time that you get hurt. So building a system that is off of this makes a lot of sense to me, right? I have never seen anybody get startled with their fists closed and ready to fight. It just doesn't happen. So why the open hand concept? Well, that's the basic reason, but there's more practical reasons for that. Your hands are stronger, your arms are stronger open-handed. And I wish I had someone here to help me demo this, and you can do this, and be careful if you do this, but if you had somebody basically If you put your hand on an object and you close your fist and you had someone kind of lean right here on the forearm and kind of try to collapse your elbow right there and you resist a little bit, it's going to be much stronger, okay, almost 5 to 10% by just opening and using all available anatomy to be stronger at that point, okay, just the foundation be stronger. The other reason the open hand is more effective is unless you've boxed, and I boxed a long time ago in college. I did martial arts for many years, and I was taught to hit with these two knuckles, which is typically what you're taught. Now, because you're a boxer or maybe an MMA fighter, you're taped, you've got gloves on, you go out there, and you may not hit the guy with these two knuckles, you're just hitting the guy with any knuckles. You're not going to have those boxer knuckles, you're not going to break these knuckles. In an actual fight, you're not going to be able to hit these two knuckles every time. So instead of sitting here and trying to be a Wing Chun fighter and hit with these two knuckles all day and train like a monk, and we don't have the time to do that, why not open your hands? It's just easier. You have really more dexterity, obviously, more options to fight with. So more weapons. So I can now claw, I can gouge, I can do a lot of things, grab with my open hand. The other portion is it's just stronger. When you have when you make a fist, like I'm doing here, the weakest part of the fist is the wrist. And people will hit an object all day for years to beef up their muscles and their bones and their arms. And in reality, it's the wrist that's the weakest point. So just to demo this, this is one of my props I used to use a long time ago. I would take the biggest, strongest guy, or the guy that thought he was the strongest guy in the audience, and I'd say, okay, tell you what, by using your fists, I want you to punch this thing as hard as you can, or give it a good go. Now, it's covered with a little bit of material, a little bit of cushion, but not much, and you can tell it's not much. Okay, and so he would rear back and hit this thing pretty good, and then I say, "Nice job." He would break it, he'd snap it, and then I'd say, "You want to do it again?" And 9 times out of 10, I'd bring in a little thicker piece, same padding, and he'd go, "I'm good," because it did hurt. As I take this pad and just demo here, it's a little tender. That's a skull you're hitting, or a bone maybe, on somebody. It hurts. Now, I'm directing the two knuckles, but it still hurts, okay? A lot easier to open your hand and just do a palm heel strike. And what I'll do is just demo that with here. The first one is just a simple punch, okay? And I'm gonna try to use the same amount of energy, okay? So here's a simple punch. Simple punch. Now the same amount of energy with an open hand palm, what we call a palm heel strike. The palm heel strike felt way more sturdier, stronger, everything. Didn't hurt either. And here's the nice thing about the palm heel strike. The wrist is out of play. In other words, the punch, there's the weak point, the wrist. The palm heel strike is completely out of play, okay? Just makes more sense, okay? The other issue is with the open hands, you can do many more, you have many more options. So if I'm in a position where I close my fists, you can now see I'm covering less of my vital areas, okay? As I open my fists, my hands, I'm covering some more areas. And you may say, well, a finger isn't going to block something. Well, it may deflect it enough, but more importantly, the mind works in a weird way. When I have my hands open like this, the mind on the aggressor is looking for a target. When I close my hands, target's open, if it makes sense. And again, that's just a quick audio loop that's happening at that moment. We talk a little bit before I go. Talk a little bit about the stance, and we'll go into that a little bit deeper later. But I've got 2 positions. We've got what's called a kind of a low guard, which is down here, and it's more of a passive. Hey, I don't want to fight. But if you look in reality, I'm really going to fight. And then we got more of a high guard when you know it's intensifying, and you really want to close. You want to make sure there's some distance between the threatening object that's going to come towards you and some of your vital areas. So we've got what's called a low guard, which I'll define later, and a high guard position. I think that's it. Thank you for joining us today. It's outdoors. I'll try to do this again. We'll start taking that open hand concept and showing you the outside 90 rule and a few other things, some angles, and then we'll do some practical drills on the bag and some exercises that'll get your cardio up, and then we'll start talking about tactical breathing. So again, welcome, or thank you very much for your time today. We'll see you on episode 7.